Hey guys, and welcome to my living room couch where I am unboxing this Chromatic, quote unquote, Game Boy game. So, Chromatic makes a modern Game Boy essentially that can play Game Boy games. However, they also make their own games for it, which means they're also backwards compatible with Game Boys. So that's really cool, and this one I thought was even more cool. The reflectiveness of this is insane, so let's unbox or remove the label first. Also, Mod Retro makes the Chromatic, not the other way around. So I know I normally use a pocket knife, but none of them are within reach, so I just thought I'd use this cable, these pair of scissors, and where is the safest spot to go at this? And it is first thing in the morning, so that is why I'm not sounding super energetic YouTuber-y right now. But it looks like we've got it, and it's peeling along the actual molding lines of the plastic, which is kind of cool. Alright, here we go. Much better, kind of. The cover I thought was kind of graphic for, you know, a Game Boy game, but it's also kind of cool. So, Chantey or Chantey, I'm not sure if they want me to pronounce it like a sea shanty or not, was a game that was being produced for really itch.io, but the full release became a physical game for the Chromatic. Now the funny thing is, I was actually talking about how I wanted a rhythm-based game for my Game Boy where I felt like I could just like play a rhythm-based mission or two and not like play through an entire RPG for several hours. And this somehow manages to blend those two things. It is a RPG with a open world and a supposedly long story that also incorporates rhythm-based missions and, well, pixel art. If you'd like to read the full description, here it is. And I have to say, this packaging is like pretty high quality. It is cardboard, sadly, but it is pretty solid. And it's shipped in a box, so there's no real way of it getting damaged in shipping. Alright, so I'm gonna try to slide these scissors. Oh, it worked. Okay. So I really want to keep this box in good condition because heaven knows if it'll ever be possible to replace such a box. It has a Game Boy, or sorry, a Chromatic cartridge. My cat is screaming in the background. Have no idea why. It's actually pretty decent. It looks, I always thought these looked too cheap, but now that I feel it, I've definitely handled cheaper Game Boy cartridges. And then just underneath the cartridge, you get this cool little badge, which it seems like comes with most their Game Boy games, come with a different kind of badge, which is kind of cool. I don't mean to upset anyone, but I feel like I'd rather the game be cheaper than be given a badge that I probably won't use, but, you know, it's another collectible thing that looks pretty high quality. And then we have a user manual, which actually feels pretty dang well printed and actually kind of extensive. Let's see. So here's the actual Chromatic, which I don't have. It looks like a Game Boy Color, and I believe it faithfully recreates the resolution of a Game Boy Color, and I would get one. It's just I don't got the money for such a thing. So yeah, it's a full colored manual, and it comes with a little map of the game, it looks like, and even a notes section, which would come in handy if I wasn't so paranoid about keeping this thing pristine. Alright, so I might pull out my original Game Boy just to test if it works later, but right now I have this modded Game Boy Advance that I'll test it in, just because the screen will display it really nice. So we'll pop that in there, and let's turn it on. I'm sorry if the cicadas outside end up ruining this audio. I really like these logos they have. Every normal man must. Oh gosh. There's no way I'm going to be able to read that fast enough. It looks like things are heating up on the ship. Oh my gosh, the focus on the camera is going wild. I promise it's not that blurry in real life. Alright. Pirate Man is alert. Are they gonna find a crashed ship? Because it looks like something was going on. Yes. It looks like they found a cabin boy lost at sea. My cats are freaking out. The air conditioner's running. And the cicadas are screaming. This is Florida. Alright, well let's start this game. Start a new game. Supposedly this has saving. And it really looks like I'm really impressed with the graphics of this game. From what I've seen. Like it feels like this game would have been a game that came out for the original Game Boy. Lord have mercy. Look who's come back from Davy Jones' locker. Wow, this is getting very on brand for piratey-ness. Okay, just more pirate slang. Ain't no room for freeloaders around here. So if you don't mind, would you kindly bugger off and make room for those actually paying for their stay? Well, okay, I guess I have to go do work, and then maybe they'll give me an actual room. Alright, well let's get out of bed and take a look around. Wow, they really went into the effort of writing something for everything. Now, the lady said don't take anything, so I guess I'm not gonna take anything. We got a hallway. I'm just impressed that this is an indie game, because usually if you get like an indie Game Boy game, it's just a gimmick. This seems like a full-blown game. Which, I mean, makes sense since they released it physically, but I love that. So it appears the plot of this game is going to have something to do with a book of rhymes that act as spells, and for some reason the guy who found it decided to turn them all into heavy metal songs, and I have a feeling we're gonna have to rediscover those songs. Oh, I see. He basically got himself outgunned. And because of that, he belted out a tune so evil, a great terror rose from the deep. And I assume that's going to kill him. It destroyed everything. Oh, I see. You're related in some way, so you want the treasure, and I assume you have some of these tunes? Question mark? Are you gonna want to battle because I dare exist near your presence? So it looks like this guy is our captain's rival in a way, and we're going to have a music-based battle in this bar. Drunken Sailor, okay. Oh, well, we've been hearing this for a while, haven't we? Not exactly the most metal song in the world. I already pressed the wrong button. I'm pressing them too late. I need to look at the screen and not the viewfinder. I'm doing awful. I think I'm just pressing them way too, I keep pressing them right after they pass instead of right before. Okay, I just barely passed. As soon as I moved it closer to my face, I actually started hitting things. That'll teach them some manners. We destroyed them with sea shanties. Seems like a couple old me men got knocked out good. Is this really how anyone talked? Since you're going out, find us some folk to join our ranks. No time to waste. Off you go. Alright. I dig that this game appears to be a full-fledged game with some cool little rhythm games, and not only that, the rhythm games aren't like insanely difficult, at least starting off. I always hated it when like you start a rhythm game and it's so insanely difficult there's no way you're going to progress through it. This seems to be vaguely beginner friendly, and it appears I'm just going to have to start exploring this place and meeting people. We have an English flag. Don't know if that's something I should stay away from. being a pirate and all. This is probably gonna be our ship, maybe? Some of the details on these, like on the world map, are crazy. Yes, that's what I mean. Man, I really need to get more sleep. But like this plank here, just the detail is insane for an indie game. I wish every like indie Game Boy game put this much effort into their graphics. Okay, people don't like it when you randomly visit their houses. Alright, so we have status. What's going on there? This is me, I assume. We're 3% complete. I guess there's 10 shanties, maybe? We're only in Act 1, though. And we're broke. Relatable. Options? Those are options, indeed. I don't know how to save the game, though. And we have the map. Man, this is a big map. I assume we're going to teleport to these places based on where our ship lands. Well, I'm going to go find a place to save and then pop this into a different Game Boy and show you guys before closing this video out. Well, my original Game Boy isn't working, but my Game Boy Pocket is, so let's test this out in a Game Boy Pocket, which is basically an original Game Boy but smaller. So if it works in this, it'll work in anything. And it seems to be working. I think I need to adjust the contrast, though. I was adjusting it in the wrong direction. Or is that the volume? That was the volume I was adjusting this whole time. Okay. It's working! Oh my gosh, it's just become a mirror, though. There. If you can see it, you can see it. So it does work on the original. My gosh, this is so hard to capture out here. Oh my gosh. Well, anyways, as you can see, it does work. Like, you'll be able to play it on your original Game Boys. Just, you know, these things are... Look, you can see the ceiling light up there. Woo! Anyways, it works. And now you know it works. Thank you guys for watching. I have no idea what this means, but this is supposed to be a video that was converted. It works! Okay, so now I have Nyan Cat on my Game Boy.